Every day, millions of people search for answers. Some people use AI to save them time, but it often makes things up. It hallucinates. Others use traditional search engines, but this gives you thousands and thousands of results that you don't necessarily have time to sort through, let alone read. The fix isn't a better search engine, it's a better workflow, a research management system. Whether you're a student writing a literature review, a teacher building a curriculum, a researcher with years of papers already saved, or just someone who's looking to understand what the science actually says, the solution is the same. We need to find the right information first and then use AI to analyze it, grounding its answers in the trustworthy information we've already found. Hi, my name is Callum, also known as Waterloots, and welcome to today's video on Consensus.ai. Consensus runs an Agentic scholar AI that searches over 220 million peer-reviewed papers before generating a single word. It grounds everything in the evidence you can actually verify and then visualizes it for you, rather than just giving you a wall of text. You can even bring in your existing research from Zotero so you don't have to start from scratch. In today's video, I'll walk through a deep research example using the Scholar agent, the new library feature, how to connect your existing research from Zotero, and how to use a citation graph to map your new and existing research. If you find this video helpful, please like, hype, and subscribe, as I really appreciate your support a lot. Now let's explore our research management system. Thanks to Consensus for sponsoring today's video. I've included a link in the description if you want to try it out, which helps me out a lot, so thank you. On the home page here, right away we can see that we have an input, like a standard chat, and what this does is it runs a search with Pro using 20 papers, or if deep, we can do a literature review of 50 papers. Over 200 million research papers directly. We can filter by medical papers, or, and I'll get into this in a moment, as this is one of the biggest upgrades, we have an improved way to chat and ask research about our specific library. If we click on that, it brings up the My Library feature, which is the same as the library on the left-hand side here. So for example, here are some papers that I've saved into my library, and you can see that I can specifically select them, and then I'll be able to chat with these particular papers. And then finally, we have this new citation graph option here that I'm really excited to show you because I find visualizing knowledge as a knowledge graph to be very helpful. But to help you see how this all ties together, why don't we start with a new deep research question. So the question I just put in here is, how do AI and LLMs impact learning, cognition, and flow states when paired with knowledge management systems? So I selected deep research here, which means it's going to go through and find over 1,000 papers and then filter to the top 50. And then I'm going to use the full academic search here. If you want, you can also filter on the side and bring in a lot more limitations depending on your particular field. And just before I click go, I want to mention that this is bringing in something that has been popularizing recently, which is the concept of an LLM wiki, which is improving your knowledge management using LLM. As you can see on the side here, I have a bunch of threads where I've been researching this over the last couple of years. So I'm interested to see how the research stacks up. So let's click go on the side here. So we can see right here, it's doing the deep research now. So what this is doing is it's bringing in what's called the Scholar agent. So it's going through and it's going to scan thousands and thousands of papers to find the most relevant pieces of information. It's going to explore its own citation graph. You can see on the side here everything that the Scholar agent is doing. It shows you the transparency of the statistics on what it's actually including in its research. We can scroll down and we can get a whole bunch more information here on what it's actually searching for, the particular search terms, so you have a better idea on how it's reasoning and how it's thinking. And then you can see how many searches it has done overall as well. So you can expand that and look through each search. So just while that continues running, because it can take a couple minutes, I want to show you what's actually happening behind the scenes here. It's called the Scholar agent, but that particular agent has a whole bunch of sub-agents. So first what it does is it uses a planning agent to go through and determine a whole bunch of different structured search strategies. That's what's happening with the actual plan that went into this search. Then what we're seeing now is it's actually executing the sub-agents to run the independent searches. So you can see search group 1, search group 2. We did 20 of those here. Then it's going to use the reading agent and it's going to run through and read all of the most relevant papers. And then it's going to use the analysis generation agent to synthesize it, which it looks like it just did. That took maybe 2 minutes or so. It looked at over 101 million papers across all the searches. It has to go through and deduplicate them, and then it includes the top 50. So that's using the deep search that I just did here. And you get a limited number of those per month, but on Pro, you get an unlimited amount of searching. So what's nice too is it ranks the different papers based on their relevance. So you can see 1, 2, 3. And this deep research report, you can see it's AI and LLMs and knowledge management systems, the impact on learning, cognition, and flow states. These are some of my favorite topics. And it includes inline citations for the different papers. So as you go through, you can click on individual papers. I can open it up in a new tab and find the actual paper itself, which is great because then you can go through and ground, you can validate the information to make sure it's relevant. If you want, you can use something like the Zotero extension, which I'll talk about in a little bit, to save this paper directly into your Zotero collection. Or you can also save it directly to your own collection inside of Consensus. So you have two different options here for how you want to save the information. We can copy the link, we can cite the paper, and we can always see if it's used the full text in its analysis or if it's just used the abstract, for example. So that's just the summary overall. We get what's called the consensus meter, which is a straight up answer to the question based on all of the research. Do they improve it? 60% say yes, 30% say possibly, and then there's a mix that say 10%. Interestingly, 0 of these papers that it found, perhaps depending on my question here, said that it negatively impacts it. And my guess, just based on my own research, is that it's because we're not just using the LLM on its own, but we're integrating it with our own knowledge management system, kind of like having your consensus library or your Zotero library. So then we can go down and see the research method, understand how it worked. We can go deeper into the results and what it means. For example, LLMs can reduce cognitive load during information gathering, which makes tasks feel easier, but it can also compromise the depth of reasoning or critical thinking if you become a passive consumer. So for me, using AI with research, the goal isn't to just become a passive consumer, but to use AI to help me go through much more volume of research papers to find the most relevant ones, and then I can do deep dives myself into it. And that's where we get into the synergy with knowledge graphs, organizational learning. There's a lot here. We get a results timeline of all the different papers that were brought in. There's a discussion that goes deeper into it. We also get a claims and evidence table, which is pretty cool. It has the claims throughout the papers and then the relative strength of the evidence that supports it. So I think that's a great way to get an at-a-glance view of all of the different claims across the research report. We get to the conclusion, and then we get into the research gaps. Basically, it identifies gaps in the research and perhaps topics that you might want to dive deeper into. For example, there's no real reference across all of these papers on flow states. So that's something that I might want to dive deeper into because I find flow states fascinating. So we have an option now to run a pro search, which will analyze up to 20 more papers or use the existing papers in here to continue this research thread. We also have the option to export as a PDF if you want to import it into one of your reference managers or into something like Obsidian. So usually I would go through, I would have more questions, I would keep finessing the information here. I can save this thread to a specific collection if I want to as well. So I'll add this to my knowledge graph and AI one. But all of this is working with the library itself. So why don't we take a look at the library? We have the consensus library right here, which are the collections of papers, the collections of threads that we've saved into our knowledge management system using AI, which is why I wanted to go into this topic more. So if we click on papers, we can see here's the paper that I just saved a moment ago. If we click on it, it brings in a summary. We can take a look at the full PDF, and it actually brings in the full text here. You can click on citations. There's a lot that we can do here. But what we can also do is we can see on the bottom, this is one of the major updates that they've had. We can choose to chat with only my library rather than chatting with everything. So this runs that same Scholar agent I was talking about, the Pro Search, and it limits it to only these 6 papers. So you can imagine now you have, in that thread we just went through, we found 50 papers. Maybe I saved 20 of them into a particular collection. I can click on just a collection on the side here to limit my library to only these 3 papers now. So you get this ability to just use an LLM using that Scholar agent to chat with your notes. For example, what's the key criticism for using LLMs for learning? And what it's doing is it's grounding its answer only in these 3 papers. So this improves the credibility and the quality because I've already curated the information first, and now I'm just using the same agent, the same Scholar agent, to chat with it. Rather than using something like ChatGPT as a general agent, I have specifically a Scholar agent that I'm working on here. And what's cool is if we go to the results, we can see how that agent worked on each of the sources that I brought in here, and it gives a concise summary. So you can see not only is it now citing a particular paper, but it's also citing a specific paragraph within that paper, and you can go jump to it if you want to. So that's the first way you can chat with your library. You can chat with individual papers, you can chat with individual collections, but then we get into one of the most powerful features of Consensus, and one of my favorites, which is connecting to Zotero. So let's do that for a minute. What I've shown you so far is using Consensus to curate information inside of Consensus. But what you can also do is you can import from Zotero, and they've made it really easy to do that. All we have to do is create a key on Zotero, so I can click on that. I log into Zotero, and then we get the option here to create a new key, and we can choose what do we want it to do. For example, do we want it to have only library access? Do we want it to give note access, write access? You can control the privacy that you're interested in here. And just before I create that key too, we go over to the FAQ for a second. I note that Consensus does not train any AI models with your data. They don't share it with third parties. They don't use it, and everything is anonymized. So I personally feel more comfortable when I'm bringing in something like Zotero, which could have a lot of my own personal research in here. So I'm going to click Save Key, copy the key, paste it in here, click Next. And then what it does is it's going to go through and fetch my Zotero library. So that only took a second here. And we can see it's bringing in all of my research that I've done in Zotero. This is the same web library that I have here in Zotero. And it's the same library that I have here in the actual Zotero app itself. So that means that if I have hundreds or thousands of papers, even up to 10,000 papers or more, you can bring all of those into Consensus and then use the Scholar agent that I showed you to chat with your existing research. So this way you don't have to start from scratch. So I'm going to bring in my whole library here, click import. All of the blue ones mean that they are collections that have been brought in from Zotero, and the non-blue ones are ones that I built directly within Consensus itself. So that's great. We can see now that my collections just jumped up a whole bunch. I brought in years worth of research into Consensus. Rather than just chatting with the Consensus library, I can choose to chat with my entire library, or I can click on a specific collection and then chat only with that collection. It's completely up to you how granular you want to use this, which sources you want to chat with. So it's the exact same workflow as what we were doing here, where we were chatting with research and conducting it. But rather than just searching for new research, we have the option to chat with our existing research. And to me, that just improves the whole concept of what I've been talking about, where we're combining a knowledge management system using an LLM to help us access that knowledge more actively and effectively. And what's cool too is, let's say we go back to that paper that I thought was interesting. I know it's already saved in my collection inside of Consensus, but what I can also do is I can click here and click Save into Zotero. And now if I go over to my Zotero system, we can see I've already brought it in here. So I have access to this full paper now inside of Zotero. And what I can do is I can either click on the Zotero import and click refresh, or if I go over to the folder that I just saved it to, I can see that that paper has already been added. So this is where you can kind of have a two-tier system where you can use Consensus to create your Consensus level library and sort your information, sort your sources. And if you're ready to save it to your sync system through Zotero, you can then easily add any paper or source you want to into your Zotero collection, and then you can sync it back into Consensus, so you always have an aligned system. I think that's pretty powerful. And if you want, you can use something like Obsidian to connect to Consensus through Zotero, so you can take notes in Zotero, sync it to Obsidian, and then go find more papers in Consensus, which then go into Zotero, and you get this really nice feedback loop. So if you're interested in seeing how Zotero, Obsidian, and Consensus work together, I have a video here that goes much deeper into it. And then I also have a video that explains how to use Zotero in Obsidian for research. So I recommend checking these out if you want to learn how you can add another layer to your knowledge management system. Okay, so now you've seen how we can run a search. We can find new information. You've seen how we can sort our information into collections, both within Consensus itself or by syncing our Zotero system. Now what I want to do is map the information we already have in here. So let's go over to the citation graph for a second. So what we can do with the citation graph is we can create a map of our research and our knowledge by creating a seed. So you can see here I have the option to press seed. So we can either seed that from here, where we can see we have some of our recently saved papers, or we can do this from our collection. So for example, maybe I want to use this paper here, the impact of artificial intelligence on learning management systems. I can click the graph button, and this will seed a graph based only on that paper. So it creates an actual map of your knowledge here. So we can see the paper that we use to seed, and we can see all of the papers that it's referencing across time. So I think that's pretty cool because now it brings in all of the related papers that tie into this particular resource that I just discovered. And we have the same exact Scholar agent being used on this group of papers now. So we can choose to expand this to the entire library and ask questions about how these papers relate to our existing library. We can chat only with these papers themselves. And we can also click around and see how the different papers connect to one another. We get a lot more information here, and I can just ask questions and just have a chat using that same agent on this specific group of papers. So I hope you can see how we're getting a few different ways of operating here. We can search across the entire database of academic papers. We can search our own library or our Zotero library. We can continuously have threads and bring different pieces in, or we can create the citation graph to see how different papers map together and then have questions and chat with it. Great, there we go. We can see we now get that synthesis agent, put this together and find some commonalities amongst the different papers. So you can go through and see where the citations come from different papers. You can further explore the subgraph of one particular paper. You can do whatever you want to continue exploring the parts that seem more interesting to you. We can even ask it to create a dedicated literature review using a deep search, crawling the citation graph based on the information we put in there. So now we're doing another deep search here. It's not just based on the question I asked, it's based on the question I asked in reference to the specific sources that I included. And this can just run in the background and send you an email when it's done as well. One thing I wanted to quickly show you is how this ties together. If we go back to my extended mind collection from Zotero, which we can see up at the top here, my thought is, what if we take a paper that I just found as part of my deep research and an existing one back from 1998 on the original concept of the extended mind, which is one of the original papers that started the concept of how can we use external tools to expand our cognition. Rather than just being bounded by our heads, we have now all of this technology. And I think that this is cool that it was created back in 1998. So this is where we can use this to see how has the state of the art changed across that period. I can seed with both of these papers. So I can select this one and this one. And now we can see that I have a 2024 paper and a 1998 paper. And if I click Generate Graph, we now have two seeds that come in here. So now we can start expanding our map, our understanding, to see perhaps where are there some connections here or where are they not connected. And you can start to build a map, and perhaps there's a research gap between these two here. I could go back to my deep research report and try and find some research gaps that then I can seed a few more papers here, and I can start to see how does the research map together over time. For example, we can see all of these papers are researching back and reference the 1998 extended mind paper. So I hope that helps you see how you can start to visually understand how the papers fit together. You can then chat with them. You can ask questions. For example, you could ask, what are the main contradictions between only these 17 papers? We can see that there's arguments on where is the mind actually located. Can cognition include tools, environments, and groups? So you can use this to continue to try and find more relevant papers, more research gaps. You can export the report as a PDF if you want. That way you can continue building your knowledge management system inside of Zotero. And if you want, you can use something like Obsidian. Great, so I hope you can see how all of these features start to fit together, where we now have this knowledge management system, a library for both consensus found papers and importing your existing research. And there's actually one more feature I just want to quickly mention here. This is where if we go over to settings, we can see that there's now an MCP usage. So basically MCP is Model Context Protocol, which is a way for you to connect to other tools with Agentic AI. So you can use that research agent that I just showed you across this entire system from the Agentic AI that you're already using. So it basically adds an academic specialist layer to one of your existing tools. So if you're interested in understanding how to do that and how to get that set up, let me know in the comments and I'm happy to make a video that goes deeper into it. Whether you're a student just getting started or a researcher with years of experience and years of collected papers, it's nice to have all of this in one place, both the Scholar agent and the research management system. This makes it easier than ever to organize your research and then get to a deeper level of understanding. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.